This is Today.
Campbell, thanks. This morning on Today at Work, getting fired. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says during any given month, close to 3 million Americans will lose their jobs. Actress and writer Annabelle Gurwitch was devastated when she was fired from a play by her idol, director Woody Allen, in 2003. Her disappointment led her to talk to some of her most famous friends about their worst job experiences.
I might as well wear a t-shirt at all times that says fireman.
How did you get fired from SNL?
They vaxxed me.
Now, you haven't been just laid off by GM, have you?
It caused like a union insurrection.
I'm stuck in a job. I'm stuck in a dead-end job.
The funny thing about being fired is later.
Yeah.
It can be really funny.
Now remember that. Remember that,
Yes.
Annabelle.
It's later. It's a
funny.
really good story.
So pain plus time equals comedy.
And Annabelle, good morning. Nice to have you here.
Thanks, Lester.
When you sat down this morning, the first thing you said, have you been fired?
Yes.
Because this is really all about you're not alone. It happens to, it's either happened to you or may happen to you.
That's right. I mean, since I wrote this book, I have traveled all over the country, and it was like a damn book. People want to talk about this story. You know, I've tried to bring some humor to the experience because you're not laughing at being fired, you're laughing to cope with being fired.
What the heck did you do to deserve getting fired by this man?
Well, I believe that I sucked in a play that he was directing.
Oh, that must have crushed you.
It was crushing.
Oh, my gosh.
But, you know, I learned something, which is if you're going to flame out and get fired big time.
Yeah.
Go down in flames.
Everybody's been fired.
Well, you know, I almost called the book and the film, They're Just Not That Into You. Because it's like they've broken up with you. And it's like a breakup, but you lose your money along with it. My son finally said he didn't want to hear about me being fired by Woody Allen anymore. And that's when when your 5-year-old says, okay, Mom, enough about Woody Schmallen. That's it. People ask me all the time now that I've become the fired lady. I've been going around the country. People tell me their stories, how they were fired, and I give advice.
So here to share with us her experiences, her personal experiences, and some of her collected stories and tales of famous and infamous firings is Annabelle Gurwitch.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. First of all, I want to say, just to put it a little bit in perspective, I'm finally addressing a group where I can say I'm not an attorney, but I've played one on TV. We really need to have a new paradigm of working in this country today. There's no job that lasts for 40 years and then you get a gold watch and retire. There's no gold watch out there unless you buy yourself that gold watch, or a gold-plated watch, or watch that you have to return at the end of the day if you're an actress. But every industry is becoming more and more like show business, where you have to be networking and keeping your resume up to date and out there knowing what your job skills are. She was called into the manager's office. She worked in retail, and she was told, guess what? We're promoting you to customer. Judy Gold was fired once when she was a toll booth operator on the New Jersey Turnpike. A job, she says, it was like working in a supermarket and ringing up the same item all day long. Here's some other interesting ones I've heard lately, too. We're freeing you up for your future. Stay informed. I mean, don't be the last person to know, for instance, that your company has just been bought by a larger company, because what's the first thing that happens after a corporate merger? Downsizing. Not everyone knows, but Robert Reich worked in the Republican administration, in the Reagan administration, and he was fired from the Attorney General's office when he was asked to argue in front of the Supreme Court to get rid of the First, Fourth, Seventh, Eighth, and Ninth Amendments to the Constitution. And he said he just couldn't bring himself to do that. Now, of course, that is a case in which the entire country should stand up and applaud the fact that you've been fired. Truman Capote once said, failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. And I think that's really true. However, on the other hand, Quentin Crisp, who's another one of my favorite writers, once said, if at first you don't succeed, failure might just be your style. And I think you have to really just go with what you've got.
Annabelle Gurwitch, great work. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Writer, producer, actress, former fired, now hugely successul person, Annabelle Gurwitch.
I've got to know, have you ever heard from Woody Allen again? I mean, you've written this book. I mean, it was all based on what?
Okay, I have to set you straight here. Absolutely not.
Of course.
Because he never learned my name.
while we were working together. So I'm assuming that if he's heard of the project, his reaction would be, who?
Yeah.
And if he saw me on the street, he would probably either run the other direction, like, oh my God, there's that girl I fired once, or walk by me like we'd never met.
Yeah.
And that's okay with me.
That's
I've
great.
made my peace with it. I've moved on, and I've learned so much that I would really probably just yell, hey, Woody, thank you.